first half of the college hockey season is now in the books for University of North Dakota Hockey, and head coach Brad Berry joining us to just chat about where his team is at right now after a split against the 6th-ranked team in the country in the Denver Pioneers. Coach, as you look over the last couple of games and over the first half of the season, how do you feel your team is sitting right now?
Yeah, you know what? I think we're right there. You know, we wish we would be a little bit higher in the standings in the NCHC standings, but you know, to be expected as far as you know where we are with personnel in our lineup. Or lack thereof in December. You know, I think we're right where we want to be. The second half, we're going to get guys back, and you know, we're playing the right way. And it was kind of disappointing this weekend, winning the first game and not getting the second one. And again, we'll make sure that the second half is a little bit better on trying to close the deal.
Yeah, your team again banged up entering this weekend, but again still finding a way to get a result on Friday. A very similar type of a game that you saw against Duluth last Saturday. Find a way to ground out a big win that was really, you know, predicated on how tough your guys played out there.
Yeah, you know, like on Friday night, I thought the key to the game was getting a lead. You know, we were off to a 2-0 lead, and you know I thought Denver played well on Saturday or on Friday night, I should say, and again we did a good job of checking and preserving the lead to get that win, and again it shows the mentality of our guys on how tight the NCHC is and finding a way to get that done.
Yeah, you mentioned the early lead, 2 goals in the first period from a couple of freshmen on your third line. That group really played well. Gavin Heinert, Mark Senden, Cole Smith really were strong all weekend.
Yeah, they did. They made an impact, not only on a score sheet but defensively in key situations. And you know, it's nice to see the freshmen taking a step here. You know, when you look at Gavin Heinert, you know, Mark Senden, you know, even Jackson Keene coming in and playing some good minutes, and you know, on the back end with JBD and Johnny Taconic and Adam Sheil in goal. So those are a lot of freshmen making key impact in the first half of the season here.
Yeah, guys, definitely clicking and learning as the course of that first half went along. Up 2-0 in the first. Felt like your team managed the game well, even though Denver had some opportunities in the second and you didn't have as many as maybe you'd like. They really didn't have many grade A chances to try and get back in this hockey game.
Yeah, you know, one of those things where their chances did come on their power play. You know, at the end of the first period on Saturday, we took a penalty, and then I thought they got momentum in the second period by their power play, and they had a couple of great chances against our PK, and you know, obviously Adam Sheil was a big part of stopping that. So you know, we got the kill, and then they got a little bit of momentum, and then I thought we got our legs underneath us towards the middle end of the second, and in the third period I thought we had a really solid third period.
Yeah, 3 shots on goal for your team in the third, but 2 of them went in. Yeah. Adam Sheil made a couple of big saves, including one on the penalty shot. That was a key moment in the game as they had a chance to make it 3-2 in the third.
Yeah, it is, and you know, we're up 3-0. They get one to make it 3-1, but you know, they score on that penalty shot, and it's a 1-goal game with a little bit of time left. So yeah, that was a key play, and you know, Adam Sheil, he's very calm and cool, but he was really excited after he made that save.
So you guys gave the little no sir after that, so a big moment there. You iced the game with the Colton Pullman empty net goal that was scored from about as far away from the opposing net as possible. Have you ever seen a goal like that?
Well, you know what, I actually have. We played in Union a couple of years ago, national championship year, and Ospogansky kind of ricocheted a puck close to where Colton Pullman was, but it was directly off the boards. I don't know how he did it, but it was such an acute angle that it went all the way down the ice in the empty net. So I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, however you score them, still counts in the score sheet. So
exactly.
The 4-woman on Friday, a chance for the sweep on Saturday, but part of the issue, again, you mentioned not having enough guys to pick from. At the end of that game on Friday, Matt Kierstead gets dinged with a suspension because of a spearing incident. Talk about what happened with that in the aftermath.
Well, you know, that was very unfortunate. And if you know Matt Kierstead, he's not that type of player. You know, he's a very headsy, calm, puck-moving defenseman, ice in his veins. And, you know, for him to get riled up and take that penalty, that's very uncommon. And I think a lot had to do with, you know, how, you know, he got hacked and whacked a few times in the game, and finally that enough was enough. But again, you know, we have to handle it better as far as in those situations and be more disciplined. We missed him on Saturday night, to tell you the truth, you know, in our lineup. And again, it's a situational learning point where it doesn't matter how heated the game gets, you got to try to find a way to keep your head.
Yeah, so no extra skater for your team because, again, the 4 guys who were out on Friday were still injured, and then no Kierstead as well. Instead of you up early like you were on Friday, Denver gets the early goal. How did that affect the game on Saturday night?
Well, you know what? I think earlier in the season it would affect us negatively a lot more as far as trying to chase the game. But I thought our guys did a good job of saying, hey, no big deal. Let's try to get the next one. And it took a while to get the next one. It took, you know, obviously till late in the third period to tie the game up. But, you know, we played the right way. I thought we played better on Saturday night than we did on Friday night. And unfortunately, the goaltender at the other end of the rink was outstanding on a lot of situations where we had grade A chances. So, it's one of those things that we controlled the game the way we wanted to. Unfortunately, we didn't score enough goals to win the game.
Yeah, Philip Larson, you mentioned, very good in the opposite end. You were pushing for the equalizer, and as you said, outshot Denver heavily in that game two period. And then it comes with about 2:35 left. Jacob Bernard-Docker comes up with another clutch play from your freshman.
Yeah, and he's been doing that all year, and he doesn't play like a freshman. He plays like a veteran out there, and he made an outstanding play to get the shot away and change his angle on the shot. And the building it gave the building a huge lift, and I thought that gave us a lift in the overtime, getting a few chances there.
Yeah, you had a lot of great chances in that extra frame. A couple opportunities back to back to back to win it late. None of them go in though, and then they get kind of their first rush of the extra period, and then they score a goal.
Yeah, and that's the game of hockey, right? Like on Friday night, they played well, and I didn't think we played as well, and we win the game. And then Saturday, I thought we played better, and we didn't win. So that's kind of how hockey goes. But it's one of those situations where it was disappointing. We left some points on the table. Last game before the closing out, we would have climbed a little bit higher in the standings. But now we know, we have to make sure that. Got to try to do whatever we can to close out a series, and it is tough in the NCHC to do that.
Yeah, well, as disappointing as the result on Saturday was, you still enter the first half winning 4 of your last 6, moving up a bit in the standings from where you were entering this past weekend. As banged up as your team is right now, you got to feel this 3-week holiday break is coming at the right time.
Yeah, it is. I think the biggest thing is getting reset, getting guys healthy, getting the batteries up to full again so that we can make a push in the second half. And that's what we do here at North Dakota is, we get better as the year goes on. And the other thing we talked about too is our freshmen. They went through a heavy first half here, and they've all grown dramatically as far as their play and their maturity, and they'll be a part of our push here in the second.
Your next game doesn't come up until after Christmas, December the 29th, against the U18s here in exhibition play before you take on Canisius in Buffalo in a non-conference series to open up the second half. What is the plan for your team between now and that game against the NTD?
Well, we're going to practice here this whole week before guys will get dismissed here in the middle of the month, and then our guys will have about 10 days off going home with their families over the break, and then we'll get them back here on the 26th of December. We'll practice 3 days and then get ready for the US 18s and then Canisius the week following. So, the first half went extremely quick, and I know this break will go quick too. And I know from a coaching standpoint, and I know our players, they're chomping at the bit to try to get back in the second half here.
Yeah, well, hopefully a chance to get some rest and relaxation and get healed up between now and then, and hopefully again a good strong push here in the second half. Brad, thanks again as always for the time.
Thanks.
Enjoy Christmas with your family. We'll talk to you a little closer to that 26th.
You as well.
Perfect. Brad Berry.